Is there any point of filming this video? I have no idea, but am I gonna do it anyway? Yes, I am. Hello everyone, my name is Katrina and today I'm going to talk about one specific topic that has been very actual, and hopefully it can help at least one person watching this video to save plenty time wasting trying to figure out what is going wrong with their lives. As well as I'm going to tell you a bit more about myself, as this is the first video I ever decided to make. So just to build up some trust here, going to talk a bit about myself as well. So keep watching. I am 25 years old and I have been living in England for the past 7 years. These past 7 years have been a crazy journey of growth and changes, constant changes, because I managed to get out of my parents' wings, build my own life, my own reputation, without anybody's judgment of it, you'd think. Anyway, I lived in Latvia for majority of my childhood and teenage years up to the age of 19. As Latvia is one of the post-Soviet mentality countries, it was very difficult for me to find my box. I could not fit anywhere. I struggled to make connections with people, genuine connections. I struggled to be myself around other people, and therefore I always had to create this personality of myself to do something or to say something that I did not mean in reality, just to fit in. But things like that come to an end, and therefore I decided to move away, to first of all for the education. So I moved to England to study in university, to make my dream come true. As a kid I was always creative. I used to love dancing, drawing, painting, singing, playing piano. All of that stuff was my thing. And when I told my parents that I wanted to be a musician, that I wanted to sing, they obviously didn't take it seriously, so I had to prove myself, which is fine, but I had to prove myself really hard until I did. And I made a plan in my head up to a certain point of my life, which I also managed to complete very successfully. I moved to get a degree. I finished degree with the highest possible grades, perfect. And what's then? Then everything started to go downwards or just stay still. Everything and nothing made sense to me at all. So I started to be more self-conscious than I was ever before. That's when big issues started in my life, like questioning my existence and that sort of thing. So I was judging myself constantly and judging myself in the same way that I hated other people for judging each other when I lived back home with my parents. I suddenly had that crazy mentality that things always have to be a certain way, and if you don't complete your goal or plan, then you're a loser and there is nothing special about you at all. It was a big mistake. Everybody makes mistakes, and I did plenty of mistakes throughout these years. I learned so much. I had to support myself. I was working almost full-time while I was studying and achieving these goals. So I was working so hard towards something that I thought that is the main image, that is the goal image in my head, and I will do anything for it. And once I didn't get it, it was crushing. I achieved something, but it it didn't have any effect on me. I went through so much pain and struggles being alone in completely strange place with complete strangers, again, like trying to build connections with people, trying to be genuine, and trying to find myself, and not being able to feel happy. It just didn't make sense to me. So I thought maybe I chose the wrong path, I had the wrong motive, whatever it was. I blamed the whole world around me and myself for not doing a good enough job. So it made me a very miserable person, and I don't wish that to anybody else. So ever since I was a kid, I had very loving parents, supportive parents. However, before they choose to support me, I would have to prove myself like nobody else on this planet. I had to prove that I want to do that thing for a certain reason, and only then they will give their all to support me however they can, mostly mentally, morally. So whenever it seemed to them that I wasn't doing a good enough job, they would keep putting these thoughts in my head, saying stuff like, I don't think you want this enough, I don't think you're going to achieve anything doing these things because you're not working hard enough, you're not trying hard enough, and if you really want to do that, you have to work 10 times harder. So funny enough, and not funny, this way of thinking, those words, they transferred into my head. So even after I moved out of the house, I felt so independent like I never felt before. I felt so much freedom, and nobody was judging me because nobody knew me. Nobody knew me, nobody cared. That's the whole point of making a new life somewhere else, you know? So majority of people even liked me and I was really surprised that people liked me and they didn't come up to me and judge me straight away for being the way I am, or saying things I do, or doing the things I love to do, because I found so many think-alike people. However, it didn't take away the mentality I had already built into my head. So I just kept judging myself every single day for not trying hard enough, even on the days that I could physically not manage to do anything more. And I did my best to stick to the plans that I made, or get ill, and I could not do physically anything at all. I would sit there and judge myself and hate myself for not working hard enough, and for blaming myself for not achieving the things I didn't get to achieve because I suck. These thoughts had always been in my head, and with those thoughts I also managed to attract similar relationships where I always felt judged. I always felt like something was not quite right, even though everything is okay. I always felt like it could be better. This is not a thing, and we're not trying hard enough, or I'm not trying hard enough in a relationship, or even worse, another person by accident undermining me when they would say stuff trying to support me and not realizing that it's actually undermining me. Same as my parents did when they raised me, especially my dad, whom, by the way, I really love, and we have a great relationship. It was just their way of parenting, and they did nothing wrong because that's how they were raised as well. Yeah, it just that mentality passed on into my head, which made me build equal relationships of how I felt within myself. So recently I had this revelation that, look, nothing is gonna change no matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, no matter what ideas you have. You never finish them, you never complete them because you think that you're not good enough. And literally I sat down and I had a conversation with myself. Afterwards, I wrote a letter to myself just because I watched somebody and it kind of inspired me. Before I went to bed one night, I was so sad. I was like, it can't be it. It can't be it to my life. Not being able to fulfill my dreams, whereas I'm used to working so hard throughout my whole life and not achieving anything. That sucked. That really sucked. So I started analyzing, why could this be this way? And realized that, which I have heard so many times before, said by other people, bloggers, philosophers, many people saying that you just keep talking negatively inside your head. Every single day you put yourself down, and lower with every day. It just goes on and on. And it doesn't stop. That negative talk just does not stop if you don't stop it. So whatever project, creative project I would start up, or whatever new skill I would take up, I would always feel myself very mediocre in that field. I would always feel like I'm not good enough. Even if other people would ask for my advice or ask for my help doing something, which is the main reason for happiness of people. And I felt really happy knowing that somebody else wants my help with that particular thing. It was really sad that I myself did not think that way. A part of me didn't think that way, didn't believe in it. So I decided to talk to myself as if I was talking to my best friend, and realize if I was saying all those horrible things to my best friend, to my sister, to my mom, I would hate that person. I would never want to be around that. I would never want to hang out with that person because it's horrible. Why would you want to hang out with a person who just absolutely hates you, who just keeps nagging and who keeps complaining about you and telling you that you're worth nothing and you're not special at all? If you think about your negative conversations with yourself, those will be the same words that somebody else told you at some point in your life, which is fair enough. And they probably managed to catch us at our most vulnerable times when we encoded those words into our head. We allowed those words and that mentality take us over. So I had that conversation with myself. I started crying like a child because I suddenly started feeling so sorry for that person, that part of myself who heard all those things, the person who had to accept all those words and negative things that another part of myself kept telling that other half of me, if you know what I mean. I had to apologize to myself. I had to, as cheesy as this sounds, or as maybe cringy as it sounds to somebody, but this works. And you'll never know this until you start a conversation with yourself. You will think that, oh yeah, this might work. Same as I did. How many YouTube videos I watched before this? How many books have I read? Self-help books have I read about stopping judging yourself and judging others and all of that stuff? And it doesn't help until you actually sit down or lie down before you sleep, write a letter to yourself, having that conversation with yourself. If you imagine yourself saying all those things to somebody else, you'd feel like a person starting with a C. So don't do that for your own sake. And who knows, maybe it saves you so much time, suffering, so much time not knowing what the hell is going wrong with you. Since I stopped talking negatively to myself, I am not allowing anybody else talk to me the same way. I'm not taking any BS anymore. So if I don't like how I'm treated, I'll rather choose to walk away because I'm not going to treat myself this way anymore. To be fair, that is how this first video inspiration came alive, because I just stopped caring about this. I'm not judging myself that I might look weird in this video, I sound weird, I have a very strong accent. So yeah, I stopped caring about that. And to be fair, I'm not even thinking about all these things anymore. I rather just, if I have an idea, if I want to do something, I get ready, I put my makeup on, I dress up and I do it. I suggest you do the same. At least try it. As I said, we're all so individual and everybody has an individual approach, but this is this particular thing that helped me. So hopefully it helps you as well. I think that's enough for today's video. I will have more videos of where you can get to know me, and I will talk about other topics as well as self-development. I'm interested in plenty other things. Hopefully you decide to subscribe to my channel and follow my videos and follow me on Instagram. Yeah, see you in the next video. Bye!